Hello guys, welcome back to Tactical Trafford, and today we want to be running through the manager search of Manchester United because definitely there's been a lot of managers on the list. Not many because some has been removed from the list of Manchester United for potential managers like Thomas Tuchel, like Carlo Ancelotti, and a lot of them. So definitely they are staying with their countries and they will not be able to take on the Manchester United job. But for today we are going to be running through Julian Nagelsmann, Andoni Iraola, and definitely Michael Carrick. So guys, let's get this video started. So first of all, in this video, you're going to be talking about Michael Carrick and how he's been evolving at Manchester United and how definitely I feel Carrick is going to, if he's definitely going to take on the job for Manchester United. So starting with Michael Carrick, first of all, we want to look at the system Michael Carrick has been playing for Manchester United. We all know that Michael Carrick has been playing his 4-3-3 or 4-5-1, however I want to put it, or 4-2-3-1. This is the formation that Michael Carrick has been playing for Manchester United ever since he became the coach of Manchester United. So definitely, I've not really had any issue with Michael Carrick personally because I feel that he has really done well. He's definitely going to take Manchester United to the Champions League after being first. Since Michael Carrick became the coach of Manchester United since January, Manchester United is first on the table, which means that if you check the league table from January up till now, Manchester United is number one on the table. That tells you that Michael Carrick has really done an incredible job, and definitely we can't overstate you can't overemphasize the fact that he has really done well for Manchester United. He has really taken us where we needed to be, which is in the Champions League because of a lot of revenues that Manchester United will be generating. So definitely let's go into tactics and try to analyze what Michael Carrick has been doing. So definitely when we attack, we know that Michael Carrick has been able to evolve Manchester United when it comes to our counter-attacking nature. Manchester United has been really, really dangerous in terms of counter-attacking. But one of the issues I've really had with Michael Carrick in Manchester United is definitely how he defends without the ball. Michael Carrick defends in a 4-4-2 shape without the ball. And this actually makes Manchester United players like Brian Mbeumo and Amad Diallo learn to perform really well. The 4-4-2 out of defense shape has really made them not be really effective on the counter and really dipped their performance because definitely when you're playing Ahmad or Mbemo on the right hand side and in the number 7 position, and then when they're not without the ball, they're forced to go back and defend and all that. It's definitely going to make them to be taking up very deep positions on the pitch, and definitely when it's time to counter and when it's time to go forward, it takes them time. And I feel this is one of the issues that has really hampered the form of Amad Diallo and Mbemo because they do a lot of defensive work. Unlike when Amorim was the coach of Manchester United, I think Mbemo was the one taking up more higher positions, while Ahmad was the one doing more of the defensive work. But in the case of Michael Carrick, it has really not been that way. And since Carrick became the coach of Manchester United, he has been playing this 4-4-2 shape out of position since he became the interim coach of Manchester United since January, and that is one of the red flags I have of Carrick. You definitely cannot be using one system since January up to May without changing anything. It is definitely showing that you're not a flexible manager. Manchester United needs a manager that is going to be flexible, that is going to be willing to change things. And if you also look at the substitution of Michael Carrick, he has been able to be making late substitution. I remember when Manchester United played against Leeds, even without the red card, Michael Carrick would have actually changed the game like 3 substitutions to try to chase the game because we have nothing to lose. We are ready to kneel down. But he waited till 67th minute after we got the red card before he made 2 changes. And this was the issue we were also kind of having with Ruben Amorim because he was always making this defensive substitution. In the case of Michael Carrick, he's always making late substitution and he has refused to evolve from his 4-4-2 out of position. And this is the same structure that he uses to press. And if you watch our game against Leeds, it was really hard for us to press because 2 men were going against 3 at the back, and it was easy for Leeds to press from the back because they have 3 men against Benjamin Sesko and Bruno Fernandes. So it was hard for them to press because the more they press, it makes it even more easier for Leeds to cut us through. So I feel that Michael Carrick has really not evolved since he came to Manchester United. He's just doing what works and he's just sticking to what works, and that is not how a manager should operate because by next season they are definitely going to fish him out and he's going to be in a very big trouble. So personally, I feel that Michael Carrick is just a basic manager. I just feel he's just doing his job, but I don't feel that he's really equipped unlike the other managers that Manchester United had like Iraola and Nagelsmann. I feel that he's really not equipped tactically and he has just been in Manchester United and Middlesbrough since he left Manchester United. So I feel he has really not been in a lot of clubs. He has really not had like lots of the experiences. I feel that he needs to go to more clubs, more experiences. He needs to have more experiences. I think he needs to be more equipped to be the manager of Manchester United. And in terms of personality, in terms of character, I think he's also really He's too calm because Manchester United needs a manager like Jose Mourinho, like Ruben Amorim, people that are very vocal, people that are very rash. This is kind of managers we need, very vocal managers, very intentional managers like the Antonio Contes. So this is the kind of personality that Manchester United needs. So if you're looking at all the characteristics, personally for me, I feel if he makes the Champions League for Manchester United, we should be looking at other options and we should be looking at other options very quickly. So the second option we are going to be talking about is definitely Andoni Iraola from Bournemouth. We all know that Andoni Iraola is going to be leaving Bournemouth after spending 4 seasons at Bournemouth, and they are going to be definitely appointing Marco Rose. But that's really not the bone of contention. So we are definitely going to be looking at Andoni Iraola in the context of Manchester United. Definitely, we know that he plays a kind of very fascinating kind of football. He plays a counter-attacking kind of football, and he plays the 4-2-3-1 shape. And he's somebody that likes to, press. He's a very high pressing manager. He's a manager that likes to press. He's a manager that likes to. He doesn't like to sit back to defend and try to absorb pressure and then hit teams on the counter. He's a player. He's a coach that, despite having very limited tools, very limited resources at Bournemouth, he's a coach that has been really, really fascinating for me. He has really done well. He has been at 4 clubs. He has been at Larnaca, Rio Vallecano. He has been at Menendez. He has been at Bournemouth, and he's really had a lot of experience. I feel the only big club he has been to in his career, if you want to rank it, is definitely Larnaca because he has doing well in Greece. But I feel that he has really done well for himself in terms of what he has achieved in his career. And I think that when Manchester United are interviewing manager, definitely starting from May or starting from the ending of this month, I feel that he's definitely a manager that Manchester United should be looking at. This is the kind of manager that we should be looking at interviewing because I feel that he's more equipped, he has gotten more experience in the Premier League. In the last 2 seasons, he has been in the top half of the Premier League, using the kind of team that he has, even despite losing all his players this season to several big clubs around Europe. He's currently in seventh position in the Premier League. That tells you that he's been a very wonderful manager, and I like his system. Just that, of course, he has a lot of flaws because no matter how good your system is, definitely there's going to be a lot of flaws. And one of the flaws is that when his team presses a lot of time, there's usually a lot of space in the midfield. And if he wants to play such system in Manchester United, we definitely need to revitalize our midfield because pressing doesn't always become the issue. I feel the only issue is the recovery system. I remember when Klopp was the manager of Liverpool, when he started losing some of his players to injuries, his pressing system started fading because definitely when you press and you don't have the right midfielders or the midfielders are actually exhausted, it's hard for them to recover to win those second balls and try to make a lot of turnovers. I feel that's his issue as well with Andoni Iraola. I feel if he wants to go into that pressing system with Manchester United, he needs to get a lot of athletic midfielders like kind of Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali Anderson. This is the kind of midfielders that can be able to press and still recover efficiently. But I feel that Andoni Iraola is more equipped than Carrick to be the manager of Manchester United. And so far, if you also look at the record of Andoni Iraola in Bournemouth, you could see that he has a win percentage of 37%. Out of 123 games, he has been able to win 46 and lose 41. And it's pretty even. That tells you that he is not perfect as a manager. Definitely, I wasn't really looking at him. But if you look at the progress of Carrick, if you look at Carrick after the Manchester United game with Manchester City and Arsenal, you could see that there has been a dip in performance with Michael Carrick. There has been no really fascinating performance, no really convincing performance for me. Manchester United has been able to scrap a lot of win, but I don't feel that it is convincing enough for me to say Carrick is ready to be at the job for Manchester United. The last option you're going to be talking about is definitely Julian Nagelsmann. We all know that we are not going to be judging him based off his career in Germany national team. We're definitely going to be talking about his days at Bayern Munich. If you look at his stat, definitely he has a win percentage of 71%. When he was at Bayern, he was a really good manager. I don't know why he was sacked because he was definitely doing well. He was, he won all the games in the group stage. He was doing well in the Champions League. And definitely most of the Bayern players were really shocked that Julian Nagelsmann was sacked. And he has been a lot of clubs in Germany. He has been at Hoffenheim, Hertha Berlin. He has been at he has been at RB Leipzig, and then he moved to Bayern Munich. He was sacked, and then he moved to the German national team. So definitely, there's not been a lot for me to talk about when it comes to Julian Nagelsmann. We all know that he likes to play in the game pressing system. He's a manager that can play in the 3-4-3 system. He can play in the 4-2-3-1 system. He can play in the 4-5-1 system. He's a very flexible manager. He likes to play with multiple positions during games, and he likes to play with multiple formations during games, and this is the kind of manager that I like because this is something similar to what Roberto De Zerbi was doing at Brighton. He was a manager that liked to play with a lot of different systems. He likes to play with different formations during games and also during subsequent matches. So this is definitely the kind of manager that wants in Manchester United. I feel that he's also more equipped than Michael Carrick. He's also more experienced than Michael Carrick, and this is the managers that Manchester United should be looking at. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the comment section on who you are going to definitely preferring as the manager for Manchester United. Are you going to be going with Michael Carrick, or you're going to be going with Andoni Iraola, or you're going to be going with Julian Nagelsmann? I want your thoughts on the comment section. So I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to that Old Trafford. See you guys in my next video.